Ever wondered how the process of adopting a child from another country and bringing them home to Canada works? Buckle up as we navigate this complex but rewarding journey together. The first thing to understand is that the process is twofold. There's the adoption process, and then there's the immigration process. Each has its own steps and requirements that must be met. Let's start with the adoption process. To adopt a child from another country, the prospective parents must first be eligible to adopt under Canadian law. This includes being a Canadian citizen or permanent resident, being over 18 years of age, and having the physical, mental, and financial capacity to care for a child. The next step is to choose the country from which to adopt. Each country has its own laws and procedures for inter-country adoptions, so it's crucial to research and understand these before proceeding. Once the above steps are completed, the prospective parents must apply to adopt through the provincial or territorial adoption authority in their area. This process usually involves a home study and approval from the adoption authority. Next, the adoption must be finalized in the child's country of origin. This typically involves legal proceedings and a final decree of adoption. Now, onto the immigration process. This begins with applying for permanent resident status for the child. This application is made to Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC. The child must meet certain eligibility criteria to be granted permanent resident status, such as being under the age of 22 and not having a spouse or common law partner. Once the child has been granted permanent resident status, they can travel to Canada. However, the process doesn't end there. The final step is to apply for Canadian citizenship on behalf of the child. This can only be done once the child is in Canada and the adoption has been finalized. In summary, the process of adopting a child from another country and immigrating them to Canada involves two main processes: the adoption process and the immigration process. The adoption process involves proving eligibility to adopt, choosing a country, applying to adopt, and finalizing the adoption. The immigration process involves applying for permanent resident status for the child, bringing the child to Canada, and applying for their Canadian citizenship. It's a journey filled with paperwork, patience, and a whole lot of love. But at the end of the road, there's a new family member waiting. And isn't that worth every step?